This is a series of interviews I'm going to try to have with bat makers from right across the globe. The purpose is to introduce people to the people who make the equipment, for people to get to see a fairly unstructured chit-chat on all different topics that may appeal to a wider audience than just the bat collector. Hopefully this gives the player their first introduction to the person that may make their next bat. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you want to chat with me, follow the link in the description to the Facebook page. Now we'll continue with the interview that I recorded.
So, the process of getting it in there was not too difficult because I had built up a really great relationship with the guys at Greg Chappell. I was actually one of those customers that goes in, not necessarily to buy anything, but I would just go on a Friday afternoon just to see what new bats and new gear was out for the upcoming season. So the guys knew me by name and whatnot, and then basically I had spoken to them and said I'm also doing some repairs and I'm just about to start my own business and whatnot. I've been doing it as a hobby, and then I had an opportunity to take it up, and sure enough I got into the bat making, and I was pretty confident that with a little bit of time and persistence and proper commitment to bat making, that I was going to be able to pick up the skill of bat making quite quickly. Because when I first left school, I was a carpenter. I had definitely the skills behind me to make the bats. It was just a matter of researching, all different types of things about cricket bats. So it's not just as simple as having a lump of wood in front of you and just shaping it into something nice. Moisture content, the size of bats, the performance and the pressing, and all these different things, all these different factors come into it when you're making the bats. So last season, the most popular one was the CS Plus, which was the black and gold stickers, which was the top of the line. Very surprising to me because they retailed for $9.95 in Greg Chappell stores. So obviously I had to sell them for the same price, which was fine. I actually thought that my CS1 range, which was the middle range, the black and white stickers, I actually thought that would be most popular. Just purely based on the fact that it was sort of touching in the affordable range and in that sort of premium bracket. So it's kind of in that middle, like I don't want to spend the $1,000, but happy to spend $600-700-ish around there. Because so the Corporate Fighter was a 13-week program. It was for amateurs who had either never stepped in the ring before or who had maybe 1 or 2 amateur fights before. And even better, we were raising money for the Black Dog Institute, which is all about men's mental health. So basically as a group we raised, I think it was close to $93,000 or $94,000 for the Black Dog Institute. So that's quite an achievement. And yeah, I mean, getting into the ring, some of these photos that I'm seeing now is bringing back some amazing memories. Felt like a bit like a WWE wrestler, to be perfectly honest. So the big stage entrance, you've got your big your theme music, and then obviously walking all the way down to the ring, saying hi to the crowd, high-fiving some people on the way in, and then obviously stepping in the ring. So I was very lucky. I had amazing support around me. That's my girlfriend. I had to double take there because I just thought it was just a regular Tuesday night at home because I didn't do the washing, but that's a Corporate Fighter. So yeah, that's fine. Yeah, there she is. Yeah, Sarah. I think it really comes down to time management. So for me, I am lucky that I can plan far enough in advance with my DJing. So I've got bookings that go up until 2 to 3 months away from where I'm at right now. So I'm able to work my life around any interstate gigs and any work that I've got. But in particular during the day, I think the most important thing is knowing how many bats or how much work you've got to complete by the end of the week and trying to basically fit it into the week. So for me, if I know that I've got 3 refurbishments or 3 repairs to do, I know that I could do them within half a day to 3/4 of a day's work. So I know that I need to allocate that sort of time. Sometimes it can get quite hectic, and I am obviously very tired sometimes just due to the fact that I am working very late nights, 4 or 5 nights a week. So it's challenging, but I think that it's quite a good feeling when you sort of can handle the workload and just get it done. And DJing is it's a great career. Like it really is good fun. So it's sometimes not, you know, the typical work feeling. You know, I don't feel like I'm, you know, lacing up the shoes, putting on the suit pants, and away I go to work. I'm just, you know, myself, and you know, being in front of people and being able to kind of entertain crowds and jump on a microphone and travel around. I think that's the thing that probably keeps me going. How do I explain it? I think having a big edge is a little bit overhyped. You know, we all know that. I mean, the reality is, if you've got a big edge with no concaving and the bat picks up perfect for you, then it's almost a perfect cricket bat, because you've got both perfect, like a big edge, big spine, no concaving, amazing. But in order to get lightweight bats, it's, you know, not impossible to achieve, but it's not often that you can find a clip that can be low density like that, and, you know, be able to make a bat with, you know, big edges, no concaving, and a high spine. So I think I've always been someone who's settled for smaller edges with a higher spine, because I feel like the way the bat plays, it's a lot more forgiving around the whole face of the bat, rather than, you know, just going for bigger edges just because it looks big, and it's almost like a showing off type of thing to your friends to say, hey, look at how big the edges are on my bat. Because I've had big edge bats over the years. I've had bats that have had 50mm edges well before the 50mm edge bats came out. See, my ideal bat weight is about 2 pounds 7, 2 pounds 8. Well before I was a bat maker, when I was really interested in all the new sort of trends with bat making. You know, I was one of those guys that bought a big edge bat because I just wanted a bat with the biggest possible edges, and that's all that I was looking for on the internet. And what didn't take long for me to work out that it just wasn't the bat for me. You know, it was about 2 pounds 11, 2 pounds 12. The performance on it was amazing, but it was just too heavy. So it's very common for the wrong bat to, you know, throw someone's game off. So once I found the right bat for me, you know, started scoring runs, and I built my confidence back up, and I was all good to go again. But while I had this bat, I mean, I had the confidence of having a really big edge bat, but I just couldn't hit anything. Round toes, I think, are better. Not too round, but I think semi-traditional round toes are good. Reason being is because you're able to take off a little bit of wood from the bottom, put it somewhere else in the bat, firstly. Secondly, the toe of the bat is actually a lot stronger when it's rounded. So I found with square toes, a lot of the corners just chip off. And we all know once a corner's gone on a cricket bat, down near the toe, it's only a matter of time before it goes again. Whether you graft a new piece, whether you glue it back on, whether you just, you know, tape it up with some fibre tape or binding even, that is very, very common with square toes. That's my first memory of square toe. When they got the David Warner Kaboom range with the just dead square. It was almost like a drop saw just came down on it. I've had Pat Cummins bats come through my workshop. I've got a few in there right now, and they've all got square toes. The professionals, all the pros, they use it. So it must be, I think it must be a mental thing. If you look down at the bat, by having a square toe, it actually visually looks like you've got a wider bat. That's the next thing I was going to say. I just think that a square toe also, you run a much higher risk of getting it caught in the pitch. You know, unless you're playing on synthetic, the risk is probably a lot less. But when you're playing on turf, the chance of you hitting a dip or hitting some sort of hole or just jamming it in there is a lot higher than a rounded toe. So yeah, no, I prefer semi-rounded toes. To be honest, it depends if the toe is a square toe or if it's a round toe. You know, I think the majority of the toes, you know, 20 to 25 mil, I think that's fine. If it peaks at 25 in the middle and sort of tapers off to 20 on the edges, that's fine. If it's 20 all the way across, that's fine. I've actually had quite a few pro bats come through my workshop that I've repaired, and these guys are facing on average balls that are 135 Ks plus, and their toes are about 20 to 25 mil. That's the top standard. So that, you know, that sort of toe size will suffice. That'll be fine. You know, there's obviously a lot of competitions, local competitions around the world that use not very good quality balls. And I think as a bat maker, it can sometimes make you very, very nervous because for example, I could make someone a cricket bat and put all my time and love into the cricket bat. And as soon as I give it to them and they say, oh, yep, so I'm going to have a few nets with it. And then I just basically play T20 on a Sunday for a few hours. Makes me nervous because I know the cricket balls that they're probably going to go out and use, go out and swing for the hills, and anything can happen. So for me, I don't ever recommend, and if this is one little bit of advice that I could give to your average cricketer, I would not recommend getting a custom-made bat if you're going to be playing just local, very, very short form cricket. It's not worth it for you because you know that your bat's going to not last long. It will not last long. I think that you should get a custom cricket bat if you're playing normal local park cricket where you're using Kookaburra balls. I think they're good quality balls for park cricket. I think tough pitch balls we use in my comp, and for me personally, I think they're great. I think those balls are perfect for the average cricketer. I think it just comes down to educating customers and people who want to buy cricket bats. If they can kind of look past the aesthetic perspective of the bat and actually pick it up based on how it feels, not what it looks like, based on how it feels and how it taps up, I think that's the best way to pick a cricket bat in your weight range. So if you have a weight range, and don't be afraid to go 2 or 3 ounces outside of your weight range heavier, because there are often bats that are 210 that pick up 280. So I've ditched all the Carbon Series stuff. Moving on from those stickers, I've got 2 new bat models coming out. One of them will be called Fox, and the other one will be called the PN31. So the quick history behind each of them. So the Fox is inspired from my girlfriend's last name. So her name in German translates into Fox. She absolutely hates cricket, but she had a chat with me not long ago and said, I would love to have a cricket bat named after me. And I was like, okay. And then the second one, PN31, as I said, that's my grandfather's initials and the year that he was born. So the idea behind that is that's going to be more of your old school range, your smaller edge, higher spine. Obviously the Fox will be your more modern day style cricket bat. So yeah, they're the 2 bats that are coming out. And the stickers, well, I'm still sort of in the middle of finalising them and the colours and the design and everything like that. I'll have a small shipment or a small amount of pads, gloves and pads. But I'm actually looking into gel technology this year. So getting the gel on the kneecap. I probably just want to thank the guys at the Greg Chappell store. So Greg, James and Zach from East Sydney. Those guys have been amazing and really helped me out along the way. Jazz from Orange Sports as well. I want to thank my family for just always obviously supporting me in everything that I do. And probably a special mention to my girlfriend for putting up with all my cricket talk and cricket obsession. Just my life becoming cricket for someone who's from a non-cricket playing country. So yeah, I just wanted to thank those people. And yeah, that's it.